Balance and whole vibrations. Welcome to another take of Woe Verse and Reserve, episode 6. Today is August 21st. It's a Monday. One of those slow days. Waking up, catching up on the work week, getting back into that mode, into that identity of work. I wanted to reach out as I'm doing my career and speak some things that have been presently on my mind and on my heart. And I want to call this episode The Law of Impermanence. And I don't know if you are familiar with the Buddhist law of impermanence. And that law is based solely on the ego and the sense of self and being, I would say, being used to living in the sense of self and how bamboozling it can be to think that we are this experience of human form, and that's it. That we are this person. For me, it's Stevie. That people believe that I believe 100% that I'm Stevie, and that I'm infinitely gonna be Stevie, and that Stevie there is, and Stevie there is, and there's no getting around that. And in Buddhism, the law of impermanence is coming to the realization that this person, this Stevie, was never meant to be forever. And that this Stevie is a bridge to something greater, dependent solely on the actions that I portray to the world. The frequency based on my actions and my intentions and my faith determines where I go, or what the transcendence is from this world, and if there is transcendence, if there is a complacency, if there's another carnation. So, and that goes back to the concept of love and what it truly means to love, and not from a romantic point of view, but from the force of love. That love is something that harmonizes all. So when we symbolically think of what it means to harmonize and what it means to be in this unity with something, what does it mean to see something as we rather than I or you? And those are qualities of this force of nature, this ever-mending, ever-blending force of nature. So, as a sense of self, being individual, believing that there is this separation between me and the next person, creates that schism. And naturally, our bodies, as instinctual, animalistic creatures, we don't want to feel pain. We don't want to suffer. We don't desire to suffer. We don't desire to experience fear. Therefore, we create these devices, these modes, these instinctual modes within ourselves to where that we naturally don't experience that. We shy away from it. We separate from that. And that is a state of trauma. That is a state of fear when the body desires no longer to suffer. So, and a big part of our suffering is having this big enigma in life that we don't know what's next. We don't know what's after death. We don't know what's why we're here, how we're here, most don't know what we're supposed to do while we're here. And it becomes that fear. And then that fear of not knowing holds on to what we do know. And what we do know is that we're this individual experience, this sense of self. I'm Stevie. So I hold on to this me. I hold on to, oh, well, I don't want to die because this is all that I know. I don't want to die because I don't know what's next. I don't know what's next. And religions and spiritualities give people comfort in these belief foundations to where it helps them ease them into that transition of impermanence. And that is where the law comes in, is that everything in this world was never meant to be temporary. It was supposed to be learned and evolved. So for our senses of self, there is bliss in believing that concept, that regardless of the fear that I inevitably will have, regardless of the confusion and the mystery that will intrinsically be in me, I feel that this provisional state, this provisional existence isn't something bad. Bad meaning it isn't something that I should be afraid of. It's something that needs to be embraced. And when that impermanence is truly embraced, then fear begins to slowly, evanescently fade away. And as it fades away, the creative force of love, that force of harmony, naturally starts to replace that void of fear, of fearlessness. Because love is fearless. Love is desirable, but it's not fearless. And it really makes one think of why is it that we were given this individuality that confuses us and creates this fear and confuses and makes living so much more difficult. And living in such a dualistic plane, it feels that we were given these lessons. We were given this ego as a token to sacrifice on the altar of life. That if we truly want to see something bigger, are we willing to sacrifice the one thing that makes us feel alive? The one aspect, the one phenomena of existence. Are we willing to exchange that, to give it up, to release it, to not be fearful no more, to not see things so cynically, and to live and to fashion ourselves more through harmony? And that is a big, big, big discipline to have in this life, is to live egoless. Seems a bit unnatural. Seems a bit far-fetched. However, there is a balance. There's a measurement of how much ego one should give. There's a measurement of how much fear that we have to accept and that we have to subject ourselves to. Because that fear of not suffering, that fear of death is what rules our bodies, our minds, our hearts, our souls. That is what steers a person to experience life the way that they do, through their tendencies, and traumatically based on their experience of whether they've seen death, felt death, near-death experiences, however it may be, is how that individual responds to reality and how that person responds to their own suffering. But through that one law, and through accepting and truly believing that we were never meant to be, this experience was never meant to be forever. And truly understanding the depth of that, and truly understanding the infinite power in that. Understanding that there is eternity within impermanence. Impermanence doesn't mean annihilation. It doesn't mean no more. Impermanence means evolution. It means transcendence. It means that there is something new once a course is taken and a new course is given. So that's something to really think on and find the resolution within yourself. Find the resolution within the world by seeing what it means to be impermanent, how everything has a day, how everything has a transition day, materially. But its energetic form, its essence takes new shape. The law of impermanence. Take a moment, relish in that concept. Really soak it in. Ruminate what it means to be permanent. And what it means to live with love. For every day will not be the greatest, and for every day will not be the worst. However, how much graciousness, how much understanding and soul we put into it, and how much faith we give impermanence will allow us to walk through life fearless. Walk through life ready for transition. Not suicidal, not fearful, but accepting in harmonic bond with an enigma that we've always known. With the transition that we've always known. Because as individuals, we've only experienced life. All we know is going to sleep and waking up. We don't remember birth and we don't remember end. Because in the end is always the beginning, and the beginning is always the end, and it just is. And that's just all we know is life. So if life is all we know, and life is impermanent, if experience is impermanent, meaning that your state of existence is impermanent, but life is eternal because it's all we know. We'll leave it off on that note. This will be a quick episode. My next episode, I'll have a guest. Thinking about maybe having my partner call from prison. He's an intellectual, very intelligent. Comes up with a lot of concepts from the collective. I'd like to share with him and expand with him on some of these concepts. But it's balance the whole vibrations, sending love, peace, harmony, faith, nourishment, kindness, empathy, graciousness, serendipity, intuition to all and everybody. And I pray that every day we're thankful. I pray that every day we are conscious. I pray that every day we're humble. Despite the imperfections, despite the challenges and the fears and the sufferings and the tendencies that we have to persevere. However, we're here. We're winning. If we're here, we're winning. That's all that matters. All right. In a minute, y'all. One love.